Josephine Bailey, and I'm going to show you a really easy, I would call it a festive treat, Christmas treat. It's just how to make your own raw white chocolates, and you can flavour it with anything you want. It makes a really good present or just special treat, and it's so easy to make, and you can jazz it up with various superfoods and other flavourings if you want. So the first thing that you need is the white cacao butter. It comes in sort of hard chunks like that. I'm using chocolate chip one. You can get these in the well, probably not in the supermarkets, but certainly Holland & Barrett online sources as well. And this needs to be melted, so I'm going to pop it in a pan. If you want to, you could, if you've got a dehydrator, you could just warm it up in the dehydrator, but I'm actually going to just put it in a pan. And with that, I'm going to add some coconut oil. Again, this is now readily available. Really good source of medium chain triglycerides, so I use it a lot in cooking. It's very heat stable, and it also contains lauric acid, which is great for supporting the immune system. And a lot of studies have now shown it's very beneficial for antimicrobial, antiviral, so a good one, especially during the winter. So that also needs to be melted, so put that in the pan at the same time. And then we're just going to stir in a little bit of a sweetener. Now what I've done here is, because I don't like adding sugar, is this is actually xylitol, which is a sugar alcohol, low glycemic, doesn't really interfere with blood sugar. And I actually stuck this, because normally it's a bit more granular. I've actually stuck it in the NutriBullet, just blitzed it up so it's powdered. So it almost looks a little bit like icing sugar. So that's going in, and that's just to add a bit of sweetener. You don't have to add very much, because I also like to add this, which is my one of my favourite superfoods for sweetening. It's lucuma. It's a powder, comes from a fruit, and it's got a lot of soluble fibre, but it's naturally quite sweet and caramelly. So it's a really good way. If you want to sort of cut down on sugars, that will give you that natural sweetness that you want. So just gently warm that through and stir it so that the lucuma and the xylitol are thoroughly mixed in. That's really important. Don't overheat it, just do it very, very gently. It may take you a couple of minutes to melt, and then I'll show you what we do when it's melted. So my raw cacao butter and the coconut oil is now lovely and melted. Now this is the time where you can decide, you know, you want to jazz it up with a few extra flavourings. My kids really like peppermint, especially at Christmas, so I'm going to add just a few drops of peppermint extract. There's loads of really good healthy extracts available. Lakeland sell quite a few. You could even do orange zest or lemon zest, just to add some additional flavourings. And then just let it cool slightly. And then you have an option. You can either pour it into individual chocolate moulds, or, as I'm going to do, I'm going to pour it into this lined tin. And that's because I want it quite shallow, and then I'm actually going to, when it sets, I'm going to break it up into sort of shards. So make sure it's well lined. Pour your mixture in, and then what I'm going to do is sprinkle over some extra ingredients as well. Give it a good stir so that everything is incorporated, and then that's going to go in. And then we're going to sprinkle over, I've got here some little cacao nibs. I'm going to sprinkle those over, and when you then put this in the fridge, these will all set. So sprinkle it over all of it so that each section that you break up has some of the chocolate nibs in. You could use dairy-free, sugar-free chocolate chips. And then I've got here some dried blueberries, Could use cranberries, could use cherries, and also some goji berries. But what I've actually done is I've soaked them in water just for 5 minutes, and then I've drained them. I just want them slightly soft. Make sure they're dry though when you then add them to your chocolate. So that's going in, and again scatter it all around. What you could do is you could just make it plain and just flavour it with your peppermint or your orange or lemon. I quite like sometimes also adding little bits of stem ginger in there as well. And then you need to pop it in the fridge for around about an hour until it all sets, and then you can break it off.